Hello and welcome to Pest Perspectives. I am pleased to say we actually are live on Facebook this week, and LinkedIn and YouTube is working as normal, which is good to hear because I've never ever had that problem before. But thanks to everyone that watched the Chin Chicks podcast last week. It done very well because it was a product that has caused a lot of controversy within the industry to do with bed bugs. It has. So a lot of people watched it on Facebook. Over 1,000 people watched that, roughly. So it went down quite well, that podcast did. It's been a bit warm today. It really has been warm. Today, been sweating my arse off. Doing wasp nests and all sorts. But this week, I have something a little bit different. I like to cover all matters of subjects to do with, pest control, businesses. I like to cover a wide variety rather than just being, we're already a niche genre. I like to cover multiple subjects. I do. So this week we have on episode 75, Mark Coltman from Mindsafe Coaching. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Shaun. How are you?
That's good to hear. I'm okay, thanks.
Just sweaty, just very sweaty.
I'm not at the minute. I've got a fan next to me. I really do. Then you've got to put your bee suit on to do a lot of the nests. It's even hotter. It really is. But it is what it is. I do like wasp nests, so there you go. Even though I've been stung a couple of times, but yeah, it's what it is. But I do wear the proper gear.
That's good.
No, obviously, I'd imagine a lot of people that listen to this podcast probably haven't heard of you. So, do you want to give people a brief introduction of what you do now? Then I'll ask you where you started out in your business life and how you got to this point, etc. We will.
I'm the founder of Mindsafe Coaching. What we do is provide mental health training and wellbeing to service industry companies, mainly pest control companies, electricians, that type of thing. Mainly to companies, smaller companies, either owner-operators, micro companies up to 5 people, or if you're an SME from anywhere between 10 and 150 people, we provide training for.
Nice. Oh, really good, that is.
So that's
I'll
what
tell you one thing, though. Yeah, that's good to hear. But I do have a couple of workplaces where I do their pest control. And I have seen, I'm still trying to get used to it, where you have, like you have your first aiders. You have a mental health first aider. You do.
There are mental health first aiders now. And they've been brought in. They've been brought in a few years ago now. Yeah. And it's really important when companies take on board that they should have mental health first aiders.
This company, I obviously can't mention the name, but this company does all of that. It wins a lot of awards in being best workplace, and they do everything. They give, if they do a barbecue at dinner time, lunchtime for their staff and things. Not every day, but they do it every so often. Things like that.
Good for the camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. They do these team building events and stuff like that. They do all that.
Brilliant.
So it helps. It does. So obviously you've explained the brief version. So it says you've been in business 30 years.
I don't
People, I don't mean Mindsafe Coaching. I mean in business 30 years.
Business.
So where did you? What have I done there? Hold on. There we go. So what did you do when you first started out in business?
Oh my God! Okay, we're going back to then, are we, Shaun? Okay.
We don't have to go all the way back. I'm not asking for a biography.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, my work I've had quite an eclectic career, to be honest with you. I started off working for a company called Marconi, which was back in the 80s, where I did a YTS scheme, as they was back then,
Yeah.
which is like an apprenticeship scheme, lasted a couple of
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
And Marconi were a defence contractor
Oh wow.
to the
Nice.
MOD. So I was
Nice.
involved in testing of missiles. I can't name them because I'm still
No.
under the
Yeah.
Official Secrets Act. But yeah, so
I
that
bet
was
that's
my
for
job.
life, isn't it? I bet
What's
that's
that?
for
Oh
life.
yeah,
I bet that's for
that
life.
yeah. There,
Yeah.
there's certain things I cannot talk about at all because some of them are still ongoing, and they've
Yeah.
been in development for years. So that was the mid 80s, and I left that. I got an HNC in electronics and electrical engineering. Then I just went, okay, I'm going to go into retail. So I worked for Hamleys toy shop for 3 years
Oh, okay. It's
up in
interesting.
Regent Street, completely different. Then I left there and I went on the road for selling for Cadbury's chocolates, which
Oh,
was the late
okay.
80s, early 90s.
Okay.
And at the time, I was 21 and I was the
Yeah.
youngest ever salesman that Cadbury had taken on, which was quite an honour, really. So I did that for a little while.
Yeah.
Then I worked for a company called Metropolitan Office Machines, which I was running their stationery department,
Yeah.
or as the sort of head sales for the stationery department. But they did photocopies and fax machines. Now, remember, this is the 90s, so that was the big thing
Yes.
at the
It
time.
was the thing.
Big,
Yeah.
yeah. It was all lots and lots of money and everything like that. And while I was there, they were
Yeah.
being bought out by Rentokil because
Oh,
in
okay.
there you go. So there is a method to my madness, Sean. It's a long
Yeah.
story, but it'll get there. But anyway,
Yeah.
so at the time in the 90s,
Yeah.
Rentokil were after global domination. So they had a photocopy and fax machine. They had tropical plants. They had women's
Oh,
hygiene. They had the pest control, which they had from the beginning.
yeah.
So they had all these companies that they'd bolted on to be this, you phone us and we'll deal with all of your facilities management. And
Okay.
that crashed after a few years. It just went all sort of wrong. But anyway, I
Yeah.
worked for about 18 months at Metropolitan Office Machines. Then I
Yeah.
was made redundant. And the guy from Metropolitan Office Machines said, right, I know one of the guys at Rentokil, go for an interview at the pest control in London West, which was Hanger Lane at the time, Hanger Lane just off
Okay.
the A40. And I thought to myself, what I'll do is I'll go and I'll work there for about 6 months
Yeah.
and sort my life out and then go and do something else. And I just sort of stayed there, went in as sales.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably where my mental health journey started
Okay.
because when I worked in the sales department as a surveyor, I'd come
Yeah.
from everything I'd sold before was a product.
Yeah.
So I was selling chocolate product, and then I was selling photocopier paper, fax paper,
Yeah.
stationery. Everything was a product. So I
Yeah.
then moved over to Rentokil and I had my 6 weeks basic training, did all my exams.
Yeah.
And then they went, right, you're now going to sell a service. And
Okay.
I had no bloody idea when I started quite how to niche over from selling a product to selling a service.
Okay.
And for about 8 months, I struggled through until the sales manager at the time turned
Yeah.
around and went, do you know what, mate? This just ain't working. You just can't get to grips with what we're doing here. Go into the technical side. So I then went off to be a technician and I worked in Paddington, West 2, London West 2, which was, if you're going to cut your teeth in pest control, doing it in one of those places in London, you see absolutely everything.
Okay.
I was doing sort of Queensway, all around that area. I think, my patch was about, back then, it was about 50, 60,000 pounds portfolio. And I had 8
Oh,
roads in West 2. That's how much, small little West 2 area of London. There was about
yeah.
15 technicians. So that's how much
Okay.
of a hold Rentokil had at that time.
Okay.
So I did that. I then changed from London West to London North,
Okay.
changed areas, and I'll be delicate. Me and the organisational management team didn't quite see eye to eye
Okay. Yeah.
on a lot of things. So after about
Okay.
18 months, I
Yeah.
left, and someone had just left the London North branch and they went to work for Terminix. So
Okay.
I went off to work for Terminix. That then turned into Terminix Peter Cox, which then merged with National Britannia. See, I don't look old, but I've been doing this for years, Shaun. Turned into National Britannia and then got bought out by Ecolab. And then in 2004, I left Ecolab and started running my own company. And I'm here today. Yeah. So a long varied career.
So you've been running Mindsafe quite a while then. That's quite...
No, that was the pest control.
Oh, sorry.
That was the pest control. No, that's fine. The pest control I've been doing since 2004. And Mindsafe, I retrained in mental health about 18 months, nearly 2 years ago. And then...
So did you make your own pest control company then?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Do you still do it now? No.
I still... there's a transfer period that I'm going through because at the minute Mindsafe is still building.
Yeah.
And I still have clients with Evolution Pest Control, which I still look after. So one is feeding the other. And there will be a time when the question will be, do I sell out and then concentrate 100% on Mindsafe, which I think that will come.
Okay.
That will come. But yeah, so I've had a long varied... I did... of course, since 2007, I've been doing Radio 2 with Jeremy Vine. Yeah, I go on. God, it used to be quite regular. Now it's about once every 5-6 months. So I go on normally on a Friday and we sit down for about half an hour to an hour. People phone in, ask questions about pest control.
Yeah.
And then I answer them and I give them honest answers. And so I've been doing quite a bit for the BBC for that.
Do you get a bit of stick? Because obviously Jeremy Vine is very good at sticking and can stick the knife when it comes to something pest-wise he doesn't like. He can.
Yeah.
He's good at that, though. But
okay. He's Jeremy. I mean, I've known Jeremy for a long time, and I've done sort of private work for Jeremy and his house. I know his wife.
But he knows what he's doing, how to get the audience engaged. So he's not on purpose. It's just what people want to hear. I
get the flack I get is on Facebook afterwards when they mishear what I say and go, oh my God, this bloke doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I think to myself, I've been doing it for 30 bloody years. I do know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's just, sometimes if you're driving, you don't actually catch what you're hearing. But
some people also want to, they are not listening properly and they hear what they want to hear.
Absolutely, yeah. They've made their own decision before anything happens. But I got that because I did a television show in 2007 for the BBC, which was a 3-part TV show about pest control.
What was that one called?
Just, oh my God, just right. You have to promise me, right? Don't ever look it up. Ever.
Everyone will now.
No, please don't. It was actually mentioned in the House of Commons by Baroness, can't remember her name, as the worst programme the BBC have ever made.
So deleted from history books then?
That's my badge of honour. There is one short clip on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. And when I tell you the title of this fantastic series I got paid thousands of pounds for, you'll go, oh, that's why. So it was called Help Me, Anthea, I'm Infested. And my co-host was Anthea Turner.
Oh, wow.
And it was a nightmare. It was an absolute... No, it was great. It showed people what pest control was quite like. And, and there were some people there that were genuinely suffering and had sort of genuine problems. But it was, at the end of the day, it was TV and it was just a bit shocking. But it got me into other places and I got sort of picked up on that. So I'm happy it happened. But I don't think, apart from the one thing, apart from the DVDs that I've still got and the 2-minute clip on...
He's very proud of it.
I am. They're hung on the wall in my office somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, so that's...
At the end of the day, you've tried it, you've been on TV. A lot of people don't get that chance, and you took the chance, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to do it. It was,
well, you don't know.
An interesting experience.
You took the punt. It could have turned out to be, Grammy nominated or whatever.
It could have been.
It wasn't. It could have been. You see?
If it was a quiet year.
Yeah.
It could have been
Yeah.
Grammy nominated. I took the
But
money,
no.
Shaun. They gave me
Oh,
money
yeah.
and I took the money. It's fine.
Yeah, the BBC, they don't like people like. I watched The Apprentice, and I've listened. I've watched it. I read his book, Lord Sugar, and you
Yeah.
have to get paid if you're on a BBC program. You have to, because he told them we didn't want the money, didn't need it. So
Right.
he donates his fee to Great Ormond Street every year.
Oh,
He
that's
doesn't
kind of
need
him.
the money. He
Mm.
said, you can't do it for free. You have to be paid. It's the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, give it away to charity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you've done quite. I would, when I was thinking about asking you, I was like, I was not expecting the roller coaster
Yeah. You're on
I
there.
heard here. I
Yeah.
was not.
Yeah.
You need to put some of this stuff in your LinkedIn bio. Maybe not a
I do.
TV show.
No, I'll keep that. But then, see, the thing is, LinkedIn's not big enough for that. Because what I then did is,
Yeah.
I've done stand up. I've done stand
Oh,
up at the
yeah.
BBC. So I do stand up
Yes.
comedy. I also write, and I've written a couple of pilots which are still trying to be picked up. But you need an agent, and I'm not in the right genre for what's selling at
Oh,
the minute. But I've written
okay.
theatre stage plays as well, so I do a lot of that. I do a lot of that sort of stuff, as
You
well
do a
as
lot of stuff. I thought I
running
do
a
a lot of
business.
stuff. I
Yeah,
don't compared to you, clearly.
yeah, it's good. It keeps the mind ticking, Shaun. That's what it is.
Definitely. You're definitely right there. You are. So, obviously, we'll mention the other stuff in a little. I just wanted to, because you mentioned you've got a pest control company. Do you
Yeah.
have people? It sounds to me like you've got a few technicians, and the business, does it run itself, or do you
No,
keep an
no, no.
eye on it?
It's just me. It's just
Oh,
me.
it's just
I
you. Sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
I did have a couple of people that worked with me.
Yeah.
Um, But the other segue really into why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I
Yeah.
pre-COVID, BC,
Ah.
before COVID, it was really quite successful, and we were tied into, niched into hotels, restaurants, that type of thing in London.
Yeah.
Pardon me, and we were doing a good chunk of turnover every month before
Nice.
COVID, and
Ah,
then
and it all shut
COVID hit.
down.
95% of my business that I'd spent years building up just died overnight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, luckily, my wife's a VA, a virtual assistant, so she
Yeah.
works remotely anyway. And
Yeah.
so the work that she was dealing with, she deals with a lot of building surveyors and
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
And because they'd at one point, I think they cancelled the stamp duty, so he was really busy. Her client was really busy, so
Okay.
that
Yeah.
just kept money in. Didn't really get much from the government at all to really subsidise anything we were doing. So we struggled through, literally struggled through. But then coming out the other side, a lot of the people we were dealing with turned around and said,
Yeah.
"Well, we're going to remodel what we're doing and how we're going to do it,"
Okay.
and yeah, just changed what they were doing. So we did, it's picked up a bit since, but
Yeah.
it's been really quite, yeah, difficult time, Shaun.
Yeah. No, it's obviously it's part of being a sole trade or solo business owner. It
Oh,
is.
absolutely, yeah.
It's but no, it's great story. I tell you,
Oh, thanks,
honestly,
Shaun. It's,
the whole journey I was not expecting. Like, been on BBC. I go on
yeah,
Jeremy Fine show every 3 months, 5 months or so. Gonna have to let me know when you're on. I'm gonna have to listen.
I'll,
See if
I'll
I
ping
can
you a message when I'm on
I'll
next.
see if I
Yeah,
can call in.
yeah, yes,
I won't
excellent.
make it too technical.
No, no, yeah, I keep getting told off because yeah, no, I've never sworn live. I tell a
Yeah,
lie. I tell a lie.
yeah,
When they filmed Help Me
yeah,
Anthea, I'm Infested, we
yeah,
did, it's weird actually, it popped up in the news.
yeah,
We went to a parrot sanctuary. Oh God's sake, you're getting me into
yeah,
stories I'm trying to forget, Shaun. You're
yeah.
triggering me. Right, we went
Sorry.
to we went to a parrot sanctuary in
Yeah.
Norfolk. Um, so it was, I live in St Albans, so it was about a 3-4 hour drive to Norfolk.
Okay.
We'd film
Yeah.
for a day and then back again and back. And then one day, it was, I mean, the weather was crap. The weather was really, really crap. So I set off at 4:30, 5 o'clock to drive to Norfolk. Now, Anthea was like, phoned up the producer, and the director goes, the helicopter can't take off. Okay, I'm going to be late. The helicopter, because this is when she was married to Grant, and they were down in Surrey somewhere. So it kept going. So by the time I got there, it got to 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8, 8:30, 9. Got to 10 o'clock, and the director just went, Anthea, darling, because they're BBC people. Anthea, darling, don't worry, we'll sort it here. We'll just pick up with Mark and we'll do stuff. And so we did, just like a day's worth of filming. But I went into one of the big bird cages.
Yeah.
And there was and Steve, the guy that owns it, who was actually in the news, I think, the weekend, because he had 5 parrots that he had to separate because all they would do is argue with each other and then swear at people that walk past. So that was in the news anyway, just a tie-in. But I went into one of these huge cages because that was just full of rats. And Belle, funny enough, Belle, so you're bringing things out. I love this because you're bringing things out. I phoned up Belle. It was Brady was at Belle at the time, and they gave us probably about 300 external bait boxes and a load of contract block and everything else, because this place was huge. And we put all this down. But I went in one of the aviaries there, and I had about 2 or 3 of the biggest. I'm 5'2". These things are as big as me, Shaun. They were massive. Jumped on my back and started trying to rip my. It probably wasn't, but they were just absolutely attacking me. And then I said the F word, profanity, and bizarrely they showed it in full on the post watershed when they did it at 10 o'clock. When they re-showed the program at 7, there was a little bleep there where I just went fudge, because got attacked by a parrot.
Well, nowadays should go. That'll get you to go viral.
Yeah, I've got a bit. I must dig it out because I cut a bit. What we had was, because the rats were so bad. Now they're right by the coast anyway, and he had a what they call it when you put all your old food stuff down. What's the word I'm thinking of, Shaun? Compost heap. Compost heap. Right, the compost heap. I'll try and dig it out and stick it on LinkedIn. The compost heap was probably about 5-10 meters square, and I was thinking to myself, well, what we need to do is get rid of the rats. So I said to the director, so we can either do this the really boring way, or we can do it the way that will actually look quite fun on TV. And he's probably breaking about 20 laws now anyway. But anyway, so we got the farmer next door to bring a JCB in. So he rocks up with this JCB, and as the digger's going in and picking up the compost to break it up, there was probably over 1,000 rats just poured out. It just exploded. And although we have bait boxes everywhere else, it's all right. I don't tell anyone else because it's on the BBC. It's too late. It's out there. But we had 2 shovels.
Yeah.
And we managed to get probably about 20 or 30. And then we just, it was, I've got it somewhere. I've got a clip somewhere. It's out on the BBC. But yeah, that was an interesting day for pest control. There you go. There was no rodenticides involved using a spade.
No.
Very environmentally friendly.
It is, but nowadays you would not allowed to do that.
You can't do that nowadays.
You can't do that. No.
It was just about permission. It's funny that because when I worked for Rentokil initially, they were just phasing out lindane. I don't know whether you've heard of lindane before.
I've heard of it.
My God, it was such a dangerous. Thankfully, it's gone now because it was it just gave people cancer. It was horrendous chemical. But yeah, so that's back in the day. But yeah, so I've done a lot of stuff. Seen a lot.
Definitely have. So right. So what led to you wanting to start this business up regarding mental health within the workplace? What was it within? You mentioned it within some of your roles where the mental health started to play a part. Was it the fact that you were working alone most of the time within these jobs. Was that part of it?
It was there's always, I don't think there's ever a point where you
Yeah.
go, that's what kicked it off, that's what
Okay.
actually started it. There's lots of little bits, like when I
Okay.
was working for Rentokil and Ecolab, and some of the times I had, with management, and the
Yeah.
way the management treated staff. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna name names. I'm just gonna give a sort of a vague overview, because that's not
Just so
fair on
you know,
anybody.
I
Yeah,
used to work in a very old school place that used to treat people like absolute dirt, mate. I worked there
really.
for 16 years. I shouldn't have done.
Yeah,
Obviously, my dad took me on in 2020 and I left. And you
right.
really look back thinking I should have left years ago.
Oh God,
But
yeah,
toxic environment, very, very, like,
totally,
mate, if,
totally. Yeah,
old school, how you're not supposed to be like that, but they're
no,
gone now. They're shut
yeah,
down and
that's good.
everything.
Yeah, it's like,
But yeah,
I won't mention which company it
yeah,
was.
you don't do that.
Yeah, no,
No,
no, I'm not going. I wouldn't do that
yeah,
anyway, because it's not fair
yeah,
on them. Because, and
yeah.
also it's like, God, 30 years ago, and
Things were different, weren't they?
things were, but that's, it's bloody
It should.
horrible. It's not an excuse,
It's not.
and
No,
it's a bit
no.
like saying, oh, my granddad says this about people, but oh, it's because he's old, and it's like, no, it's because he's a pain in the arse. You shouldn't do that sort of thing. But anyway, so we got the whole team. It was Christmas Eve,
Yeah,
and the whole team, all like 12 technicians, got
yeah.
brought into the office totally unannounced, and all
Okay.
got a written warning on Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's the biggest load of crap ever. Why would you
It,
do that to somebody on
that,
Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve,
That is
they
ridiculous.
did that.
That's a massive load. You don't
Yeah,
do stuff like that.
yeah.
No.
See, nowadays, knowing what I know now, and
Yeah.
the rules and the regulations regarding HR and what they can do, we were never sent a letter. We weren't told you can do this, you can do that.
Okay.
But it's just one of them things where that was the situation then. But I look back now and go, do you know what? Is that a bad manager, or is it just a manager that hasn't trained to be a better manager? I'm trying to put a
Okay.
good spin on it, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Because a
Yeah.
lot of things that I've sort of looked at over the last couple of years
Yeah.
is it the person, or is it they just haven't been trained properly? Now, the majority of people that I've worked with, and even when I've been in management, I wasn't the world's greatest manager. I was good at some things, I wasn't good at other things. They're really good at their job, but
Yeah.
they might be crap at dealing with people, and they
Yeah.
might be absolutely shocking at sort of working with people and getting the best out of people. And I think that's when it started,
Okay.
and it just sort of carried on from there. And then every time something's happened, like I suffered. I mean, my son was at Bournemouth Uni when COVID started, and he like really suffered. We was backwards and forwards. But I think when you lose the majority of your business, and you
Yeah.
look at everything very slightly crumbling around you, and you're trying to have a coping mechanism
Yeah.
that's just not working, because you don't understand what's happening to you, when your anxiety levels and your stress levels are so high, you
Yeah.
think, oh my God. And there was a couple of times, I won't say it, but there was a couple of times where I went to like a really dark place, very dark place. And then having conversations with people since, and I've told them about myself, and then they've opened up and go, do you know, during this period of my life, I was struggling,
Yeah.
and I was getting affected by people. So I then did a mental health first aid. I did a mental health first aid for business and mental
Okay.
health advocacy for business course. And it took
Okay.
about 3 or 4 months to do, although it was part time, but it was really quite intense, because it went
Yeah.
through absolutely everything. And like we said at the top of the show, it's mental health first aiders are brilliant in an organization,
Yeah.
but a mental health first aider is normally dealing with somebody when they're in crisis,
Okay.
meaning that they've gone too far. Okay, it's
Okay.
they're struggling, severely struggling.
Yeah.
Everything is being affected. Their work's being affected. Their personal life's being affected, and they either get picked up by management or they go to the mental health first aid and go, do you know what? I've just had another shit day. I can't deal with this anymore. What in God's name do I do? And the mental health first aider goes, I'm aware of the situation. What you need to do is you need to go and see your GP, or you need to go and see this, or you need to go and do that. We will try and help you as a company. Hopefully that's what they say, but this is what you need to do. And it's called signposting, and they're going to show that person.
Yeah.
So I looked, and as I was sort of developing everything, I thought to myself, well, why are we waiting till we get there? Why don't we try and sort something out upstream
Yeah.
here? So why don't we get
Okay.
involved right back here and stop that from happening? If you've got somebody in crisis, it's
Yeah.
too late.
It
You know
is.
you've lost them and everything. And there's something called presenteeism.
Okay.
Now you've got absenteeism, which is
Yeah.
really, really obvious. So, like, say you're not at work, okay?
Yeah.
You're not at
Yeah.
work. It's very binary. Sean's not at work. I'm getting nothing out of Sean until Sean comes back. There's
Yeah.
zero revenue because Sean is not working. Now,
Yeah.
if you're off for a mental health issue or cold or you broke your leg, whatever, there is a time that you're off.
I've
Make
actually
yourself
broke my
better.
leg twice, so just
Oh
so
my
you know.
God. Okay, sorry. Didn't want to trigger you there, Sean. I guess.
You haven't triggered, man.
Okay.
I thought he's just said it. I thought
It's just
I broke my knee, but it's the same thing.
oh yes. Okay. So anyway, so you're off, but there will
Yeah.
be a finite time, and then you're back at work, and then all of a sudden, Sean is putting money back in the company.
Yeah.
Presenteeism is there's something wrong with Sean. We
Yeah.
don't know what's wrong with Sean. We don't even notice there's something wrong with Sean. But
Yeah.
Sean knows there's something wrong with Sean, and Sean is rocking up 10 minutes late every day, and Sean is just taking a little bit more lunchtime, and Sean's not really talking to the office staff, and he's just on his own, and he's in his own head. And what's happening is Sean isn't working at 100%. Sean's working at 50% or 40%. And you can do that for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And the management are going, well, Sean's here, so revenue is happening because
Yeah.
Sean's work. They can see Sean in the building or on his van, and the calls are getting done. But you might
Yeah.
drop a call. You might not do so. You might, we're dealing with pesticides, rodenticides, insecticides, that type
Yeah.
of thing. If your brain's not on the game,
Exactly.
you could have an issue with stuff that
Okay.
we're using. And it's not good stuff to be left about or chucked about or anything. And presenteeism costs far more to a business than absenteeism. And
Okay.
mental health, here you go. Mental health
Yeah.
has affected British business over the past 12 months. So this will be 25 to 26. It's
Okay.
cost British business £55 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's
money.
lost revenue
Yeah.
from British business from mental health issues. And that's not just being off work, that's being, presenteeism, that's all of those issues. That's what it's
Yeah.
cost British business. And you've also got the added knock on of how it's affecting the NHS. Now,
Yeah.
if we go in and I go in and I train a bunch of people, I don't just train one or two mental health first aiders. We will train everybody.
Yeah.
The important thing is, and I had some brilliant conversations with Kevin and Mark at the NPTA, who have both done their mental health first aiders. They're brilliant advocates for Mindsafe.
Yeah.
And the conversations I had when I was sort of going through and sort of putting all the courses together and everything, their words were, where the hell has this been for our industry? We need something for this industry. And because you're getting the leadership buy-in. So I'll go to a company and we'll get the leaders in and we'll sit them in a room and we'll go, right, this is what we're going to do. And this is why it's important for you as the guy that owns this company to do this and understand. Because what I then want is when I speak to either the teams or the supervisors and the managers, I go, the leaders have got your back. Okay. Whatever happens, if you are feeling a bit down and you're having a shit day, you can talk to somebody. You've got permission to talk to somebody and go, do you know what? I'm having a shit day. That's not going to be weaponized and held against you. And it also reduces the stigma. If everyone's talking about it more openly, because the interesting thing, right? I always start my courses off with what's mental health? And people go, well, you know, it's suicidal thoughts and it's depression and, you know, all the horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Mental health, being happy. That's a state of mental health. Being ecstatic, happy.
Okay.
There's something called the mental health continuum. Okay. And basically what happens is during the day, your mental health can change. Okay. So you can get up in the morning, you know, have your breakfast, your toast and Weetabix and whatever, and you're doing okay. Okay, you're doing okay. Then you go out, you jump in the van, and some twat up the road cuts you up. Now that doesn't ruin your day. What that does, it gives you what we call in one of the frameworks that we have is a spike. Okay, so what's happened is you've spiked, and it depends what level you're spiking at. You know, there's a normal working level, and then there's an issue where you're struggling, and it goes all the way up to like the worst. There's 4 separate levels.
Okay.
Anybody that's in the worst level, right at the very top, really needs to have some sort of engagement with a mental health professional. If you're ever in a situation where you're working with somebody and they're either threatening somebody or they're having suicidal thoughts, you do need to get somebody. And we don't train anybody to diagnose anybody's mental health issue. This is the thing that I've built is just a business tool to help people from getting to that situation, or as we like to put it in our industry, reduce the risk. So that's what we're trying to do, reduce the risk of this happening. Now, stress happens the same way shit happens. Every day there's stressful spikes. What we try and do is minimize those spikes. Now, you can have a spike pressure being a salesman. Okay. And that's completely normal. Just right, end of the month, bit of a spike, bit of a thing on. But what that does, that spike will help drive you. What you can't ever have is just completely normality. And that's what we call the baseline. It's impossible. You know, you stub your toe, you're late for work, you know, you choke on your coffee, you have a crap night's sleep, you get a cold. They're all spikes.
Yeah.
But you go to the gym, don't you?
I do,
Yeah. Once you've been to the gym, you have a recovery period, don't you?
Yeah.
So what you don't do is you don't go, all right, it's leg day. I'm going to do 10 sets of 10. Right. I'm just going to continue this for 2 hours because you'd kill yourself. You do your knee in again, wouldn't you? It's impossible to do it. So that's like going to the gym is like having a spike. I mean, the gym's a good spike, but what you want to do is once you have a spike, you want to bring it down as quick as possible. And we also teach methods of how to sort of self-control and identify the spikes, because it's not just a spike. Sometimes you've got a spike that's got a very gradual, the day starts crap and things happen and your spike takes a long time to get up there because pressure's building. Pressure's building and then it drops off. Or you might have a spike where it shoots up. Someone cuts you up in the car, say, or rams into the back of your van. You're in a bit of a motor accident, so your stress level spikes up. But then the recovery time takes ages and ages and ages to come down, and that's a danger, because what happens is if you're in a situation where something spikes quickly and takes ages to come down, and then something spikes again, and then it's taking even longer, you get this soar effect. And what happens then is your baseline changes, and your mental health baseline, which is good, starts doing that. And once it starts
Okay.
doing that, every day you're working,
Yeah.
you're having a period of stress. And when you're in stress,
Yeah.
your cortisone, everything else is rushing through your body. And it's not just mentally damaging, it's physically
Okay.
damaging as well. It will affect your sleep, it will affect the way you speak to people, the way you communicate with people, arguments, you just, oh my God, what's up with Shaun? He's
Yeah.
bit my head off again. And it's all to do with stress. So the
Okay.
first thing we do is understand,
Yeah.
so we teach people what mental health is. And as we've just said, it's not all bad. There's
Okay.
good mental health, there's
Yeah.
bad shit mental health. So let's
Yeah.
just try and keep it good. And we know it's
Yeah.
going to change throughout the day.
Okay.
But the other thing we need to have an awareness of is, when are we spiking? And if you understand where you're spiking, you might turn around and go, oh, I'm spiking because when I leave the house, the traffic's really crap at 7:30 to 8 o'clock. And it might
Yeah.
be just something because, well, leave 15 minutes early, just miss that. And then you're at your
Yeah.
first job a little bit earlier, go and grab a coffee or something. And your whole day, your whole outlook has changed because
Yeah.
you've just changed something that you're doing, something really tiny. But unless you understand what's going on
Yeah.
with yourself, you can't then change and make any amendments.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Understand. It's like pest control, Shaun. That's
Yeah.
why what the course that I originally built really
Yeah.
brought in a lot of pest control stuff, but it
Okay.
opens out into all of the service trades
Okay.
because it's the understanding. So we
Yeah.
go to a job and we have to identify the pest. So
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're going, I know the biology of the pest because I'm trained.
Yeah.
So I understand what this pest is and what's happening. I recognize the problem, and that's what we're doing with the mental health training. So we
Yeah.
recognize what is happening, and then we have communication. So we
Yeah.
either communicate with the client what we've done, what they need to do,
Yeah.
but the communication is either from a manager to a member of staff, a team member,
Okay.
or team member to team member. If we're working together and I
Yeah.
get to know how you work and how
Yeah.
you are as a person, and then I start noticing your temperament's changing, you're
Yeah.
rocking up late, you're always in a bit of a shitty mood, and this is happening, and God, your
Yeah.
van's a mess today, Shaun. It's been like that all week. We can then have a conversation. But
Yeah.
because we've both been trained in the
Yeah.
company, the stigma starts to go. And you can go, do you know what? I haven't slept, and this, and the dog's done this, and whatever, and I'm late with my payment for this, and all the little stresses that you're
Yeah.
feeling. Communicating and talking to somebody
Okay.
often finds a solution to it. And then after that is management, and that's either management in the physical sense of your
Yeah.
managers within the company, or you learning how to cope with what you are feeling and how you're feeling. And it's not a question of it not working all the time. It's
Yeah.
impossible because things will spike and things will be out of your control. But
Yeah.
you have either a fighting chance of helping to reduce your stress levels, asking for help,
Yeah.
asking for support from people.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in a business sense,
Yeah.
the return on investment for a company is quite high. It's about 4 to 1, 4 or 5 to 1. So for every pound they spend on mental health training,
Yeah.
they're going to get about £5 back. Now, that's not physical pound. That could be saving
Yeah.
money. That could be, oh, Shaun buggered this job up. I'm now going to have to send a tech in to redo what he's done. Or,
Yeah.
your eye's not on the ball and you've put up a pigeon net and the pigeons have got in. Then you've got to go back to it and you've
Yeah.
got to then get another hoist in, got to get more material. You're losing, the company's losing money. So
Yeah.
that's where you're saving. But it's about looking after
Okay.
everybody that you work with.
No, it sounds really good. This I've learned. Honestly, I've learned loads just for you
Oh,
talking.
good, good.
It's quite interesting. It
It
is.
is when you start diving in to the nuts and bolts of it. It's really, really quite interesting. Really quite interesting.
Yeah, it seems it's like so. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you said what's mental health, I didn't think for 1 minute it's good.
No,
or the bad.
people don't. But mental health can be, and that's part of the problem where
Yeah,
the stigma's arising from. Because you look at TV and films and everything like that, when somebody, oh, they've got a mental health issue. Okay,
yeah,
now that's called, mental health illness, the correct
yeah,
term.
yeah,
But that's not mental health. Mental health
yeah,
can be good, can be bad.
yeah,
But mental health illness or mental health in crisis is where we're trying to stay away from.
yeah, definitely.
Terminology.
As
Stigma.
I watched the ambulance programs on the BBC, and I tell you now, more people on that program are having mental health issues than anything else.
Yeah,
I see it on it all the time.
yeah,
Doing
yeah. The
it's
problem
not.
is
Yeah,
it's the way the world is at the minute. You
yeah,
know, you look what's happened over the last 10 years. I mean,
yeah,
we're in a crisis with money. We've had COVID. We've
yeah,
had, God, 10, 15. They've had more prime ministers than Watford have had,
yeah,
managers over the last 10 years. It's just all of this
exactly,
filters down to the man and woman in the street, and it
exactly,
affects their mental health. When people haven't got the money, it's a really big problem with mental health.
exactly. It's it makes you think, doesn't it? It does.
It does. And that's the good
It's
thing, because when
yeah,
people start thinking, things start changing. And that's what
exactly,
needs to happen.
exactly. It's yeah, yeah. It's made me think. It has.
Good, good. I'm
For that,
pleased. I'm pleased.
tell you what, as I've, obviously they've got to change the system in some way. But I once rang the doctors not for that reason,
Yeah,
but there was literally a message said that if your issue was mental health related,
yeah.
ring this other number. And I said to
Oh,
myself, said to her, Mrs. If you're on the edge, that might
yeah,
tip you over the edge, saying, "Bugger off.
yeah,
We don't want to speak to you." But they've removed it. Apparently, they've
yeah.
removed it so you can speak to them.
Yeah,
It's
that's
to ring a
getting
different
hold of.
number. You
Yeah,
know.
it's getting hold of a doctor now is bad enough as it is. But like you say,
Yes.
it's when you are in crisis point and you just need somebody to talk
Yeah.
to or get to see somebody, and then the GP goes, "Oh, come back next week." Well, do you know what? That person might not be there next week.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
frightening. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's yeah. It's a hard one, isn't it? It's one
it
of them.
is.
It's, but obviously, I do understand mental health is a bad is a, but there are sadly that I have to bring it up. There are people that play on it, whereas how why the NHS is struggling so much with mental health is because there
Yeah,
are people that I'm not saying everyone. It might be 0.1%. It might be, but
yeah,
some people are claiming it and they're fine, but then
yeah,
it stops the people that need the real help getting the help.
yeah,
And I'm not claiming, if anyone's listening, it's a serious problem. Mental health is, but there is people in everything that will play on it. They'll find a way of
yeah.
doing it, so they don't have to work as such. But it is a massive problem. But I'm just picking up because some people in every system, though, someone plays on it. But it's just one of them things, isn't it?
And
And
that
it's,
and that
it's
that makes it difficult for people that do have a genuine problem.
it does. Oh, hang on, I've annoyed him. He's where's he gone? Come back, Mark. Come back. Come on. Where's he gone? Oh, I don't know what to do now. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will carry on. I'm sure he's just pressed the wrong button there. Where is he? That stumped me there. He's disappeared for a second. If you're watching on Spotify, please press the follow button. If you could rate the podcast 5 stars, that would help us. We're up to 14 reviews at the minute. It would help other people see the podcast. It would. And it helps the show great. If you listen on Facebook, please press the follow button. It helps the show grow. And if you're on YouTube, press subscribe. I'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers one day. I didn't annoy you that much, did I?
What happened there? Everything went.
I know.
I disappeared. I don't know whether it was me or you. I will take the blame, Sean. I take it was me.
Right. I just promoted following the podcast. That's what I was doing.
Take the opportunity. Absolutely. Get an ad break in there quickly. But yeah, there are people that will go, oh, this is something that's quite hard to diagnose.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't train any diagnostic thing. But what we do, one of the frameworks we have is called process over judgment. And it's the way you, if you are picking up an issue with somebody, you put process over judgment into place. Yeah. And because the question I was asked was, how do I know? This is a genuine question. How do I know somebody isn't taking the piss? It's a technical question. But
do you know why I think they were asking that?
Yeah.
Because I bet you the theory behind it.
Yeah.
So if a company allows people to have days off for mental health, they'll say, what if someone's putting it on just to have days off work? That's probably where it's come from, maybe. Totally. I don't know. Totally. I don't know.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And so the framework, it becomes apparent by following the process, whether it is a genuine mental health issue or whether it is somebody just going, I'm late. Oh, I've got mental health problems. Okay, because there's things that you can do, and there's things you can do legally and point them and signpost them somewhere and put processes in place as a company, because you have to be seen to be doing things and putting things in place to try and help.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's part of it. But it is a problem.
Yeah, it's interesting learning about it, and you help business. You help a lot. You don't have to say who, but you help a lot of pest control businesses.
We have just started. I've done with a couple of smaller companies. Been doing some work with them.
Yeah.
But it's funny, even though we started it from pest control, because that's the industry I know more. We are doing other trades. I've got people that I know in other trades and facilities management companies who have brought us in. But we because everything's transferable. The core training itself is transferable. So I've had theatre groups looking at putting something on for them. All sorts of things, all different. So it's not just Mindsafe isn't just for pest control, but that's where it hatched, really, because of my lived experiences, and because I've worked for the two biggest pest control companies, and I've worked my way up to management, and also run my own company. I know what the pressures are like, and I know where all the pinch points, is what they call it, are within a company, and what to ask to try and get the best out of them. Because one thing we are starting first of all, I think it's next week, we're going to be launching, we've got a workplace pressure risk assessment we're doing, and it's based on the HSE, the Health and Safety Executive Principles. Okay. And what we will be doing is going in to companies and carrying out a risk assessment on the mental health and the mental well-being of their company, and working with them to put things in place to get the best out of their staff. And it's not a well-being woo-woo type of thing, and it's also not a motivational thing or anything like that. It's based on the back of the training that we do, and then we can offer training or say what you need to do is put this in place, and this will help you as a business.
Okay, is that kind of something you're rolling out to clients you've got now? Is that kind of...
Yeah, it's going live to those clients beginning of August, and then shortly after that it'll be available to everybody. I just want to make sure that the questions and the processes that I've got in place work as best as they can. So it's always good to run it through a few companies first, get the feedback, change, and then roll it out properly. Yeah, so
you're right.
That will be available. Yeah.
Just to try and get it perfected, because obviously I imagine over time you'll be able to, on the fly, find better ways or better questions,
Yeah,
or
totally.
evolve it over time to make it
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
You
see,
can.
from the course that I wrote originally over a year
Yeah.
ago has now evolved. And even within the
Yeah.
last couple of months, I've gone, okay, that's working. That
Yeah.
part of it really works. But that's not hitting home. It's not getting what I'm expecting. And then speaking to the people that have been on the course,
Yeah.
they're going, I didn't quite understand, didn't quite get that. I don't think that's going to help me. So it's you like
Okay.
you say, it's evolving, and it will change every so often. It will change. Something will come in, or something might go out if legislation changes, things like that. We do touch on legislation a bit
Okay.
because it affects everybody, and if you are running a company, you just need to be aware of the legislation that sort of encompasses it.
Okay. So obviously, what if you work for a company and you know that they haven't got any of this in place? Is there anything somebody can do to try and get help at work? Or
Well, the first thing, really, well, if they're suffering, or they're
yeah,
just going, or the whole environment is toxic.
yeah. Either or, right? Just to kind of
It's really difficult when
yeah,
you are in the system and you're working for a company,
yeah,
unless the management and the leadership
yeah.
are behind changing the culture of the company. It's
Okay.
quite difficult. Like you said, you've worked for toxic companies.
Oh,
I've worked for toxic companies, and us two
believe it or
don't
not, I've only ever had, as an adult, I only ever had one job, and that was it. And then the second job
really. Oh,
is working with my dad in pest control.
right.
So
Okay.
that's the one job for
Yeah.
16 years. Very
Gee.
toxic, old school ways.
Yeah.
You would swear at you, make you feel like you. If you
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
but then it was a weird one. It was, but
Yeah.
I stayed there too long. But I wish I got in
People
pest
do.
control younger, but I didn't
Yeah.
know about it. It's my dad started doing pest control, and he
When
got
did
me
he
into it.
start?
He started doing pest control. He stuck. He never worked for anyone. He worked for himself. So
Right.
he
Yeah.
started doing pest control over 15, 16 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He started as a side job,
Right.
and then it built up over time, and eventually went full time. So
Oh,
his
brilliant.
mate told him it was a good thing to get into, so he did it. He did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Going
he's
back
not
to
been
it.
it as long as you. Oh,
It's,
yes.
he's a young'un. That's good.
Well, I don't
Um,
know. I don't know about young. I don't know. I
isn't
don't
it?
think he's young. No, no.
But yeah, it's very difficult when you're in there unless you've got the leadership behind you,
Yeah,
and the management behind you to do something. And the problem is, if you are in that sort of toxic environment and your mental health is suffering, it then becomes an HR issue. What you can do, depending on the
yeah,
size of the company, if it's just you working for another bloke, it's a
yeah.
little bit difficult. We're going
Yeah.
into legal territory, which we have to be
Okay.
careful of. But
Yeah.
if you do have genuine mental health issues, you do have rights for that
Yeah.
company to take you seriously and put things into place.
Okay. Well, there we
Whether
go.
they want to change the
Yeah.
whole structure and do
Yeah.
something, that's why I'm really pleased with what Kevin and Mark are doing with the MPTA, because what
Yeah.
they've done is they've gone, this is our structure, this is our ethos, this is the
Yeah.
culture at the NPTA. We just want to be ahead of the curve because
Nice.
they know that if they do it at the top, it will then filter through and the whole working environment will change,
Yeah.
and it gets the best out of it. And this is what going back to people I worked with back in the 90s,
Yeah.
I don't understand why you have a manager that employs you and then spends the rest of his working life trying to fire you.
Yeah.
It's just,
Makes
from a
sense.
business point of view, it's just crazy
It is.
because people then just turn and they then turn off and you lose people. And I've worked with a lot of good technicians,
Yeah.
good salespeople that have just gone, bollocks. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't
Yeah.
take this environment. Like, well, I struggled for sales, and then
Yeah.
I when I left Rentokil, I didn't have the best time at Rentokil. I then worked for Ecolab, and I went back
Yeah.
into sales. Eventually, was a
Yeah.
tech, worked my way up into the tech. Then I was looking at after like the really high risk places. They'd sort of parachute me in, get rid of this problem, sort this out, be in control of that. So I went then back into sales because I knew it then, you see. I'd done, 15 years in, and I was top in the country 3 months in a row
Nice. Well done.
because
That's good.
I then learnt from everything and then took that away and gone, like, this is what I want to do. But the management, the salespeople, the sales manager, the branch manager, everybody,
Yeah.
the environment was, let's just make this the best that we can
Yeah.
and get the best out of everybody. We will help you. And what was really refreshing when I moved to Terminix, as it was at the time,
Yeah.
and the supervisor first worked for, he turned around to me and I was like, it threw me off because I thought he was sort of trying to have a gotcha moment and trying to sort of find a reason to have a go at me. He said, "Oh, what do you think of this? What are your thoughts on this?" And I'm going, "Really? What, you want to know what I think of this?" And I'm like, "Well, we could do this instead." And then he'd go, "Oh, brilliant stuff." And
Oh,
little
that's
things
nice.
change and implement because someone's listening to you, and they
That's
just get. And then I became a different person because of the
nice.
management and the way I was treated.
Yeah, it's nice that is because
Yeah,
honestly, it's different for me because obviously I work with my dad and I have a big input, obviously, because
yeah,
I'm a director as well. But when you work for a company, it's very different, and like
yeah.
especially the size of company you work at. So yeah, it would make a massive difference. I would have thought
No, totally. And then the company earns more money
they do.
because it's not just, I'm selling more because I'm out there wanting to do it because I know I've
Yeah,
got people behind me. The technicians are then going, "Oh, that's brilliant. He's selling more. I'm going to put in some leads. I'm going to find something." And then I'd go, "Okay, let's go out for lunch." And you
yeah,
chuck the technicians lunch and a coffee and stuff. And then they go, "Oh, I've got a lead here. I've got a lead here," because
yeah,
they're earning money out of it. So everybody up the chain is sort of getting happier, and it's just a
yeah.
better place to work for.
No,
And
most
then
definitely.
and then different managers come in and ruin it all for everybody. But that's life with these
Yeah,
big companies. That's the problem. They
no,
sell
it
the
is.
company, then and merge it, and it all becomes a bit,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Terminix ain't
skewed.
about no more. It's Virgo basically. Terminix turned
Yeah,
into Virgo. It did.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Things
when
change.
yeah, because I think Rentokil merged with Terminix, but then we're told in the UK you can't do that. So
Yeah,
it's only in America, isn't it? It is.
yeah. It's weird because when I was a manager at Terminix
Yeah,
IX, there was a
yeah.
company that's not far from me now in Hertfordshire called Terminix EX at the
Oh,
end.
oh,
And
okay.
the man, and I think they were around just
Yeah.
before Terminix came over from the
Oh, okay.
States, and the management used to go apoplectic with rage that this couple of blokes in a van, because the amount of money they got from people looking it up on Google and misspelling it,
Yeah.
and they're going, and that, yeah, it was actually quite funny at the time to watch.
Well, yeah. I can imagine.
But there's nothing they can do. They're all trademark. They're doing what they need to. Their business is secure. Terminix thing come along, and if someone's in the position already, there's nothing you can do as a company.
Exactly. Exactly. But no, it's been a good conversation, Mark. I've learned loads. I hope people have
Good. Oh, that'd
as
be good if
well
they
that,
do.
that are listening. I
Even if
will.
they take away something small,
Yeah.
or it gives them, you know, the impetus to start looking at stuff, either for their company or for themselves, looking at mental health and ways that they can help themselves and other people. I mean, that's my job's done, sort of thing. That's really good. I'm pleased.
I definitely. That's the ethos of the podcast, really. If
Brilliant.
someone can learn something about
Yeah,
to help their job or improve their company,
yeah,
then that's the goal achieved. That is.
yeah.
It's
And if anyone wants to chat at any time, I'm always sort of open. Look me up on LinkedIn or just type www.mindsafecoaching.com. Drop me a message. I'm happy to chat. And if I can point people in the right direction, brilliant. And then I'm up at the MPTA, Milton Keynes, if anyone's up there. I know it's a couple of months away.
I'm up
Yeah,
there.
I'll be up there. Excellent. I'll see you there.
Well, I'm
I'll
on
buy
the
you a
board, isn't
coffee.
I? I'm on the board of directors.
Oh, of course you
Right.
are. Yes, you have
So,
to
so
be there.
I helped with last year's PestTech.
Yeah.
I've actually got a Pest Perspectives live there at the end of the day.
A live one. Excellent.
Yeah, that'll be something new.
Just be you in an empty hall.
Well, yeah, the time slot it's at, it is in the
Yeah.
latter. I've got the
Yeah.
last slot basically.
Yeah. Kevin, what
But
have I
it's
got 3
something.
o'clock in the morning?
Well, no, I'll be asleep then. PCN,
Yeah.
I'll probably be going to the PCN dinner. I did last
Yeah.
year, but
Oh,
we'll
did you?
see. Well, on the MPTA table.
Right.
But yeah, but that was fun.
Good.
Being behind the scenes. I'll be down there. So I'll probably see you to say hello.
No,
Are you,
absolutely. I'll be around.
are you doing the stand or
No,
just
I'm
going?
not going to do a stand this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe next year. Maybe next
yeah,
year we'll have some stand. It depends if I get enough people from the pest control industry
yeah,
showing an interest in it. Then, next year I don't see a reason why we don't have a stand. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's a cafe. Gonna be a cafe, isn't there? There's a
yes,
there's a there's a there's a
and a smash room.
yeah. There's a smash room.
That would be good. That'd
There's
be good.
pest perspectives. There's what more could you want?
Yeah,
That's
don't
it.
forget
That's
pest
it.
perspectives.
That's it. What more could you want? But now there's loads more to do, people.
Yeah,
We're always trying to come up with new ideas of how to make it better each year. And
absolutely.
I think we're going to have, I think obviously the rage room, people want a book and they said, no, you have to just turn up on a day and queue.
Oh God,
It's
yeah,
all recyclable. Anything you smash up, it's
yeah.
all recyclable and gets reused. It's
Oh,
not
that's good.
wasteful.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. It's all recyclable. It, it is. So yeah, but thanks for coming on. And
Thanks for inviting me, Shaun.
no worries. It's I messaged you. I was like, do you want to? Because you were asking me about basis prompt, weren't you? Have you got your
Because
points yet?
see, that's the interesting thing is, I mean, we're
Yeah,
gonna get with the courses, we're gonna get an external CPD points for it,
yeah,
which will
yeah,
then cover any industry. But it was, yeah. So I've got Shaun Mooney, British Pest
yeah,
Register. We got points for them. We got points for the BPCA. We're like
yeah,
literally dump yep. And if there's
yeah,
anything else you want help with, as
yeah.
the MPTA have been
Yeah.
from day one, have been fudging amazing,
That's great.
which is really good. And now I've got, yeah, basis prompt came through a little while ago, and they were a bit on the low side, so I just sent an email back going, that's great, but everyone else is doing more points than you are, and seeing as some of these courses are a day or half a day, and so they amended them so
Well,
that
it's based on hours, so it should be
it's
if it's
meant
six
to
to.
be based on hours.
It is. It should
Yeah.
be. I haven't yet heard from them, just so you know. I'm still waiting for
Really?
basis prompt points. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
still
God.
waiting for
Yeah.
them. I might have
I
to
have
ring them at some
mine.
point.
I have mine, and I've got my basis prompt number, so I
Yeah,
can allocate points now. But
nice, nice. I might get them by end of the year. Who knows?
yeah, don't
But
hold your breath.
yeah, but but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. You just stay on the line. I'll just end the stream. But thanks everyone. And if you're watching on Spotify, press follow and rate us 5 stars if you can. If you're an Apple podcast, 5 stars and give us a review if you wish. It helps. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. 110 subscribers now. Hopefully one day I'll get to 1,000. And if you're on Facebook, press follow. We're about 400 something now, so I would like to get to 1,000 one day. It just helps the channels get more tools, etc., to grow the show. But yeah, thanks everyone, and I'll see everyone next week, next Tuesday. Right, thank you.